For over 25 years, some of the inhabitants of this fishing village have been the victims of a mysterious curse. A strange, shrunken skeleton discovered by builders while renovating a cottage has been casting an evil spell over anyone who disturbs it.
Approximately in 1970, a builder approached me and said, would I be interested in buying a skeleton? He knew I collected antiques as a hobby, and I said, yes, I'll be interested. I had a chef working for me, and he asked me if he could take it home to show his wife. The following Saturday, him and 3 others were coming back from London, and there was a head-on collision, and he was decapitated, but the other 3 walked out the car safe.
But this was only the first in a series of bizarre and disturbing incidents associated with the skeleton.
A relation of mine took it home to put it in his girlfriend's bed as a joke. The following day, he had a massive hemorrhage, and it was touch and go if he survived.
Psychic investigator Graham Wiley has closely monitored the effects of the curse since it began.
The skeleton caused a reign of terror for about 15 years. People were decapitated, had incurable diseases, committed suicide, attempted murder. Anyone who opened the casket was subject to these tragedies.
In 1990, the remains were passed to Graham Wiley for safekeeping. He believes that it is only his highly developed psychic powers that are currently keeping the curse at bay.
I have looked after the casket. I have changed the cotton wool that's in there. I have taken the skeleton out with no adverse effects.
The only clues to the identity of the skeleton were an engraved whale's tooth and 2 slave bracelets which were originally found with the casket. In a bid to solve the mystery, Graham Wiley contacted a local medium who claimed she was in direct contact with the spirit of the dead man, an 18th century sailor.
He told me that his name was William Young and that he was born here in Brixham in 1699.
Young's spirit revealed that he had sailed on ships transporting slaves from Africa to the Americas, and that on one voyage he had been cursed by a tribal witch doctor. When he returned to England, he began to shrink.
He kept on getting shorter and shorter, and eventually he became ill and weak. And in 1747, he died at the age of 48. And at that time, he was just 10 inches tall.
A search of local records showed that a 10-inch wooden casket had been made at the same time as William Young's death. Margaret Barrett believes that it was the church's refusal to give the miniature man a Christian burial that resulted in the curse. Some experts believe that the skeleton is in fact that of a human fetus. But Graham Wiley remains convinced of its authenticity and sinister powers.
I believe that the skeleton does contain evil connotations to this very day. We have too much evidence to dismiss this as coincidence. It does exist.
In order to protect those who don't possess his psychic powers, Graham Wiley plans to keep the skeleton under lock and key for the rest of his life. When he dies, he hopes that the curse of the shrunken sailor will be buried with him.
That seems a sensible conclusion to the finalization of William and myself.